What forums have you attended so far? What kind of topics have you changed with people?
Well, I think there's a strong focus this year in the forum regarding the green economy and the decarbonization and the fight against climate change. I spoke this morning about the role that China can play in the fight against climate change and how it can use its technology and cost advantage, at least in some equipments and systems, to actually make it easier for the rest of the world, not only for China itself, which I think has bright prospects. But of course, still needs some level of globalization to happen. If we think that we can not use Chinese technologies, then we're starting the fight against climate change with a big hurdle to start with, which I think is not good.
Denis, since we last talk on video interview, a little bit of change in the world situation in terms of economic situation. That's the banking system problems in the US and in Europe. Do you think after a round of rescues, these situations are under control?
I think those two situations probably are under control, but I would be very cautious saying that this is the end of it. I think here we have a bit of two very different situations. I think SVB in the US is a second-tier bank. It's big, but it's still a second-tier non-systemic bank that collapses out of regulatory issues. I think it was not regulated like the big systemic banks and was allowed to do things that other banks would not have been allowed to do. But I think government and regulators have to play a big role to recreate the confidence, to punish maybe any institution that is not following the rule, and possibly to also update the rules.
Then let's focus on China. The biggest issue for China's economic recovery would be relying on the consumption recovery, domestic demand. How do you think it will recover? When do you expect it to recover?
I would say that so far this year, after the end of the zero COVID policy, I would say it's soft and steady. It's soft, so I would not say that all problems are solved yet. And you can see that consumption is doing slightly better, but still not recover to previous level. Maybe it will simply not recover to previous level because people are not confident enough, because they need to save money, because they're not confident. But it's still steady.
Great. You put a lot of theory in this. I really enjoyed it. Let's look a bit deeper into the consumption market, where housing and auto market are two big pillars. Is the housing market in China stabilizing after the 3 arrows rescue efforts last year?
So that's regulation, as I was mentioning before, for the banking sector. Has done a great job also triggering some restructuring of the sector with some consolidation, but not too much, because you don't want companies to collapse. I mean, there was this fear at one point last year, or even in 2021, that the whole thing would collapse and take the banking system with it, and even trigger a global crisis of sorts. This obviously has not happened, and I think we can be thankful that the government managed its restructuring relatively smoothly by tightening the rules for the professionals of the sector, and also by triggering soft restructuring.